A gruesome discovery folds. The night was hot. The kind of night that makes you feel uneasy, as if the world itself is holding its breath. It was June 12th, 1994, in Brentwood, California.
A place known for its tranquility, its manicured lawns, and its sense of security. A wealthy enclave, usually quiet and serene. Not tonight. Tonight unfolded the kind of nightmare that shatters the illusion of safety and leaves a community reeling. The victims, Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman, two lives intertwined by fate, forever tragedy. Lives brutal. Friends and family gathered, holding candles, faced with grief and disbelief, found a scene of unimaginable violence, blood everywhere. The walls, the floor, the very air seemed to scream with the horror of what had happened. This wasn't just a murder, it was a slaughter, the kind of brutality that leaves even seasoned investigators shaken. The news spread like wildfire. Whispers turned to gasps. The city, the nation, everyone was talking about it. Old Brown Simpson, life of NFL star O.J. Simpson, dead, murdered. Her life, once filled with promise and potential, now reduced to a tragic headline. The world was in shock. News outlets from around the globe descended on Brentwood, each one trying to make sense of the senseless. But the horror was just beginning. The initial shock gave way to a deeper, more unseen. The question on everyone's mind, who could do such a thing? Speculations ran wild, each theory more outlandish than the last. The answer, it seemed, was all too. Yet, it was an answer that would nation, spark debates, and leave a lasting impact on the American psyche. O.J. Simpson, sports icon, now found himself at the center of a media storm. His every move scrutinized, his every word dissected. The trial that followed was nothing short of spectacle. Lawyers battled, evidence was presented, and the world watched with bated breath. Public opinion was split. Some saw a man wrongfully, others saw a murderer trying justice. The media frenzy was relentless. Every twist and turn broadcast. Emotional testimonies brought tears to the eyes of many. The pain of loss, the quest for justice, all played out in a courtroom drama that captivated millions. And then the moment of truth, the verdict. A nation held its breath as the words were read out. The aftermath of the trial left a lasting impact. It wasn't just a legal battle, it was a cultural moment that would be remembered for years to come. The scene had unfolded, but the questions remained. Questions about justice, about truth, and about the very nature of humanity.
The chase a nation watches in disbelief. The world held its breath. O.J. Simpson, the prime suspect, a hero, a legend, now a fugitive. The white Bronco, a slow-speed chase. Helicopters whirred overhead. News cameras captured every agonizing mile. Millions glued to their screens. A collective gasp ran across the nation. The chase became a spectacle. A surreal, slow-motion pursuit. A nation captivated, horrified, transfixed. It was a moment etched in history. The day the legend fell. The day America watched a nightmare unfold in real time. The trial of the century, key moments. The courtroom became a stage. Lawyers, the actors, the world, the audience, the trial of the century was underway. On one side, the prosecution, confident, armed with forensic evidence. They painted a picture of a jealous rage, a brutal murder. Key testimonies from witnesses added to the drama. On the other, the defense, led by the masterful Johnny Cochran. They crafted a narrative of police misconduct, planted evidence, and reasonable doubt. The stakes were high, the evidence gruesome, the tension palpable. The world watched, captivated. Would justice be served, or would fame and fortune buy freedom? The prosecution's case, building a narrative of guilt. The prosecution presented a meticulous case. They began by highlighting a trail of blood that led from the crime scene. They delved into a history of domestic abuse, painting a picture of a tumultuous relationship. DNA evidence was a cornerstone of their argument, linking Simpson directly to the crime scene. The prosecution argued that O.J., consumed by jealousy and anger, had snapped under the pressure of his emotions. In a fit of rage, they claimed, he had brutally murdered Nicole and Ron, leaving a gruesome scene behind. The evidence, they asserted, was overwhelming and left little room for doubt.
Witness after witness took the stand, each adding more weight to the prosecution's narrative. Neighbors recounted disturbing incidents, police officers described the crime scene in detail, and forensic experts explained the scientific evidence. Each piece of testimony was another brick in the wall of guilt the prosecution was building. The case seemed airtight, with every detail meticulously covered. But the defense was just getting started. They had their own narrative to present, one that would challenge every piece of evidence and testimony the prosecution had laid out. The courtroom was set for a battle of wits, evidence, and legal prowess.
Johnny Cochran, the master strategist, took center stage.
He attacked the prosecution's case with a vengeance. He questioned the integrity of the evidence. He highlighted inconsistencies in police procedures. He planted seeds of doubt. His voice boomed through the courtroom.
He introduced the specter of racism. He painted a picture of a police force out to frame a black man. He argued that the LAPD, with its history of corruption and brutality, couldn't be trusted.
The defense's strategy was working.
Doubt began to creep in. The trial became a cultural phenomenon. Race relations already strained were thrust into the spotlight. The media, ever present, amplified every twist and turn. Public opinion deeply divided along racial lines. Was O.J. a victim of racism or a cold-blooded killer? The trial became a referendum on race, justice, and the American dream. It exposed the raw nerves of a nation grappling with its demons. The world watched, mesmerized and horrified, as America tore itself apart. The tension in the courtroom was palpable. The prosecution presented a key piece of evidence, a bloody glove found at the crime scene. They claimed it belonged to O.J.
The moment of truth arrived. The prosecution asked O.J. to try on the glove.
The glove, it seemed, didn't fit.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
The moment became a turning point. The prosecution's case, seemingly so strong, began to unravel. The jury deliberated. Days turned into weeks. The world held its breath. Finally, the verdict arrived. The courtroom erupted. Shock, outrage, disbelief. O.J. Simpson, a free man. The verdict sent shockwaves across the nation. Celebrations in some quarters, outrage and despair in others. The trial of the century had ended, but the debate had just begun. S3, not guilty. The verdict left a nation deeply divided. Had justice been served, or had fame and fortune triumphed over truth? The questions lingered, unanswered. The wounds, still raw. The O.J. Simpson trial became a defining moment in American history. It exposed the fault lines of race, class, and justice. It sparked a national conversation about police brutality, racial bias, and the media's role in shaping public opinion. The O.J. Simpson saga continues to fascinate and divide. Books, documentaries, and television shows revisit the case, re-examining the evidence and exploring the cultural impact. The questions remain. Did O.J. do it? Was it a fair trial? The O.J. Simpson trial is a stark reminder of the complexities of race, justice, and the media in America. It's a case that continues to haunt us, a story that refuses to be forgotten. The O.J. Simpson trial was more than just a murder trial. It captivated the nation and the world, drawing unprecedented media attention and public scrutiny. It was a cultural earthquake, shaking the very foundations of our society. It exposed the fault lines in American society, revealing deep-seated issues that had long been simmering beneath the surface. It forced us to confront uncomfortable truths about race, class, and justice. The trial became a mirror reflecting the complexities and contradictions of our social fabric. The verdict, while shocking to some, was a moment of profound realization for many. It was seen by others as a victory against a system rigged against people of color, a rare instance where the marginalized felt heard and vindicated. The O.J. Simpson saga, a tale of fame, fortune, and tragedy, is a narrative that continues to resonate. From his rise as a beloved sports icon to his dramatic fall from grace, it is a story that encapsulates the highs and lows of the American dream. It continues to fascinate and divide us, sparking debates and discussions that are as relevant today as they were decades ago. It's a story that will likely be debated for generations to come. The trial's legacy is a testament to its enduring impact on our collective consciousness, a story that reminds us that sometimes, even in the pursuit of justice, there are no easy answers. The emotions and questions it raised remain unresolved, echoing through the years. The trial's conflicting legal opinions and the passionate responses it elicited highlight the complexities of our justice system. It serves as a poignant reminder that justice is not always clear-cut, and the search for truth can be fraught with challenges and contradictions.